Hello, and welcome to Separated by Water, the fans podcast, primarily aimed at people in the Emerald Isle who are fans of Premiership clubs, but with subscribers across the world. So thank you so much for that. My name is Colin Campbell. I'm a Spurs season ticket holder, and my co-host and good friend is Paul Galt, a Forest fanatic. How are you, Paul?
Good, Colin. Not the transfer window as expected. Normally we get a bit of activity at the Nottingham Forest in the last day, but overall I think it was a sensible window without any madness. A couple of things we have for you today is we talked last week about Chelsea manager and their success under the manager, and Man United Michael Carrick success. So what we've got Cal and Daniel from Chelsea and Cal covering Man United. They've sent us in a couple of videos just on how they feel about it. The video is a wee bit jumpy, but it should be okay. I've worked our way of converting that, but it won't be for today's episode. But we'll run with the episode after we've talked about it. Tell me about your weekend of football, first of all. How did you feel your game went?
Okay, well, we'll look at the respective the two draws, I suppose, that we had. Spurs, if you want me to go with that. As well as that, I suppose we're going to have a wee look at a feature we used to call Emerald Eye. We're going to look at the progress of Kinsella, the goalkeeper who's flying high with Brentford. Yeah, we'll acknowledge the United and Chelsea positions, and then we'll have a look at this window here after that. But first of all, the weekend. Spurs, what can I say? What have I not already said? What a first half, what a second half. My goodness. I'll focus on a couple of things on the pitch. One is Dominic Solanke. I think showing what a good centre forward can do. I'm not saying world class, but there's a lot. He's very good at what he does, and incredible at what he usually doesn't do. And that scorpion kick was spectacular. I've even shown it to a couple of people who don't. Yeah, well, I've shown it to a couple of people who don't like football, and they even got it. Said, "Oh my goodness!" And I showed it to a couple of people and said, "Look, this is what supporting Spurs is and should be like. The incredible, the excitement, the crowd going wild, the thrilling goal, the fight back, blah, blah, blah." And that's all of that. And the fans have responded wonderfully. So
can I just pause you there, Colin?
Yeah.
Can I just pause you there? My grandson texted me at half time, and I was dipping in and out of the match, and he said, the text just simply said, Spurs are absolutely shocking. So I didn't see much of the first half, but by looking at the review, it seems to have been the case that you were shocking the first half.
Yeah, and we were, and the goals weren't wonderful by anyone's standards. City will think they're beautiful, but from our point of view, they were poorish. And I thought that was it. We do well against City traditionally. I thought this was going to be one of the exceptions where we don't. So I would accept his text at that stage. Second half, everyone responded, and we really got into City. And there were, City had spells, of course, in the second half where they were the better team. Looked like they might get a third, but that is City. It's Manchester City we're talking about. Spurs got into them. Every player looked like they had the things I like: hunger, a sense of purpose, a sense of knowing where their teammate was going to be, and a real desire to get on with it and move forward. And the crowd, of course, responded, because that's what we want. We'll accept a lot, but that was wonderful. We really enjoyed that. And in a way, I was going to say it was a draw that felt like a win. Over the 45 minutes, I think we could have edged it. So I have to say, pleased with a lot of it. Pleased for Thomas Frank, quite pleased with what he said. Sometimes I think he tries to be too diplomatic and loses it in doing that. I felt good for him. I felt good for the team. So in terms of that match, okay. Did we do Arsenal a favour? Well, that's their business and that's City's business. All this nonsense about Spurs wanting to lose, fans wanting to lose. Forget about that. That's been created. However, had we lost, I probably would have gone, well, at least, as you do, you try to make something out of nothing.
A silver lining.
Yeah. But we were there to win. We didn't quite do that, but given recent performances and results, it was pretty good. So we'll go up to Old Trafford now, feeling a wee bit better. couple of bits to add, of course.
It would be remiss of me not to mention this. Maybe you want to talk about now or in a minute or two, Chris. Romero, your captain.
Yeah, I mean, I can talk. I can talk about it now in the context of the window or the non-window.
Yes.
Okay. Well, look. First of all, Christian Romero. Or
I'm talking about it more in the context, Colin, of the players you had available on Sunday. Did that have an impact on the result?
Well, it depends what you mean. I mean, if Madison, Kulusevski, Bergvall had been available and on the bench or on the field, it could have done because we would have been stronger. But the players who were on the field gave their all and played very, very well. I think big marks for Solanke, big marks for Gallagher, big marks for Archie Gray, playing out of position and really giving it a go. But I do agree. I do agree with what interpreting what Romero's saying, and I think it was an emotional reaction. He didn't come out for the second half. People were wondering why he wasn't coming out for the second half. Based on what he's saying, and maybe it was a wonder he was able to get out for the first half because I think he wasn't totally fit. I think what he's saying is that with the window that has just gone, we have not strengthened. In fact, I think we've become on a net basis weaker. And there's some strange ones in there. Letting Johnson go, okay, Kudus got injured. No replacement, weird. The next one is we let Dean Scarlett go, I think, who's played in the first team. He goes to Hibs, I think, and we bring in an 18-year-old from Hearts. Okay, that's really going to stop us going down this year. So I think, a few more injuries and we're in really bad trouble. So I can see where he's coming from, whether it was 11 fit players or not. Interpreting that, I think he probably meant 11 fit first team tried and tested players to turn up against Manchester City, who you really need to be on your game. I think that's what he meant. And I understand and wholeheartedly endorse the spirit of what he was saying.
I went in and looked at the actual post, Colin, and Conor Gallagher had liked it. So you're saying there about weekend. Does that tell you that there's a division in the? If I just arrived at a football club and one of my teammates put up that post and said that basically we're weaker after the transfer window, and I just arrived at the club, I'm not sure it would do a lot for my confidence. The second thing I'd say is the fact that Conor Gallagher's liked it tells you that he agrees with it, or he's just trying to make friends in the changing room or the locker room.
He understands it. I think he said interpreting it, as I was saying, to interpret that. Gallagher coming was excellent. I'm a big fan. I like him. I like the way he got into his game on Sunday. And hopefully he's available for the Champions League in the future. I'm not quite sure how the rules are. But no, I wholeheartedly endorse that. And what Conor will understand is the team needed more. The club needed more than just him. And that's what we're saying. So to lose, what we're saying is during the period of this window, we have lost Johnson, Kudus, Bergvall, Davis. We still haven't got Madison, Kulusevski, Bentancur also. And Spence couldn't play on Sunday. So
maybe what we PSR driven. Maybe it's PSR driven, Colin, that you need to.
No, it couldn't be. It couldn't be. Spurs have done that. Spurs have a lot of cash to flood in there, that's what this is about, and it is. And I just want to say that yet again, the Enoch people treat us like dirt, like idiots. They come out with this war chest thing and fanning about, and then they come out with, we did our best to sing. He's always going to go to City. Unless you really do want somebody, you've got to go in and turn their heads, tell them about the project, show them how important they're going to be. Spurs did none of that, So as Paul Hawksby from TalkSport was saying earlier on when I was coming back from an appointment, please, in your programme notes, Chief Executive, don't give us any guff about we tried this and we're doing this. No, we don't want to hear it anymore. We feel it's exposed. They're letting the team go right down to the bare bones. And that I will never ever forgive that or forget. And I think many of us, we can dress it up and we can excuse it and we can rationalize it, but at the end of the day, they're not acting like the custodians of one of the greatest sporting institutions in the world, and that's what they are. And forever they will be damned. I think the only reason is they get out because they're not interested in football. They're not interested in Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. So okay, is that? Do you get the picture?
We could actually just pause every week, record that, and put it on the next episode, the next episode, the next episode as well, because it's the same moan every week.
It's
and
not.
Paul Hotspur started.
No.
It is.
It's
It is
variations on a theme.
I'll play 2 videos in a wee while, and it's Daniel who's he's won 6 out of 7 games under with the new coach, not manager, as he rightly tells us. And he's still saying, no, these guys have to, no, I'm not really happy with them. And then you go to Cal, who's a Man United guy who's finally seen a wee bit of light at the end of the tunnel, and he's bouncing. He can't wait. He's just saying, this is absolutely brilliant, So it is a bit sort of similar every week. We're just slagging off Lewis and the Enoch, and I can't wait for the day where you say Levy back. That's what's going to come sooner or later. You maybe find
That's
out
not going to happen.
Maybe find out he wasn't so bad after all.
Not.
Maybe find out he wasn't.
No. There's no way of that. You will be waiting. You're waiting forever.
Okay.
You will have met your maker long before that. That just won't happen.
Well, I'll talk about the Forest game. As you rightly said, I predicted a victory. I think you predicted a victory. Our game was defined by one movement of a handball by Nico Williams. I don't blame him at all. I've done it. I remember doing it in a Sunday afternoon game, a Sunday league game many, many years ago. It is the most natural reaction in your life that if you're standing in the goal line and the ball's going to go in, you'll put anything in front of it to stop it. It's just a reflex. He done it. He knew straight away that he went down on his knees and he put his head down onto the pitch, covered his face, everything. He knew straight away that he'd changed the whole game. If it hadn't been for that, but I don't blame him because Nico Williams gives us 110% every single game. He's, without a doubt, for those last 2 years, I would say he's the player, defender. He gives 100% every game. So that's not going to define him as a player for me, as far as I'm concerned. Just keep him on the pitch. He's a great player. It was a reaction, and it happened. We were all over them in the first half until that happened, and then we had to regroup. We made some substitutions, more defensive, and then it ended up that we got a draw. Like Crystal Palace are in real trouble, Colin. I don't know if you watched the full game or not. I watched every second of it. They have nothing to offer. Their manager doesn't want to be there. Their players that don't want to be there. That they couldn't even sell the players. So I don't know what to say. We could still have went on and won the game with 10 men, and it was. I think we're going to see that Crystal Palace are real trouble. I think I don't really see how they can compete against the bigger teams in the league if they couldn't compete against us with only 10 men in the pitch. But we'll wait and see. If anybody's listening, well, we are. I know there's people listening to us. Jump on the comment section, as always. Please like and subscribe to our channel and tell us what you think, and we'll always discuss it. We are going to discuss Chelsea. We're going to discuss Man United, and we're also going to discuss the transfer market. So, Colin, your transfer market, have you said all you want to say about the transfer market, or was it a week? How would you say it? Was it a fail? Was it a pass, or was it just an average pass?
Net 0 out of 10. It was poor.
Right.
Great to get Conor Gallagher, and I've already explained that in context. But no good at all. And I'll maybe contrast that with a few other teams, and we'll come to that. But what about Forest? You must be happier. You got Pizza Crouch for one. You mentioned somebody else coming in at the last minute.
Well, he's in. He's a Luca. We have 2 Lucas. And we now get 2 Nicos as well. Luca Net came to us. We were looking at Hayden Hackney from Middlesbrough. I completely understand why they didn't want to sell him. they're in a battle to try and get promoted up into the Premiership, and I completely understand why they didn't want to sell them. But we put a marker down on them. We expressed an interest. If they don't qualify one way or another to get into the Premiership, maybe we've put a marker down that we're interested in them in the future. We were going silly that Arnie Engels, or whatever you call him, at Celtic. He wasn't worth the money we were bidding, and every time we put another bid in, I was panicking more. He wasn't worth it, and I'm just glad he didn't come. Ortega, Stefan Ortega has come to the City ground now. Great bit of business, 500,000. I think it's 5 months contract with options for longer. Sales went off at half time on Saturday or Sunday, whatever day our game was, Sunday. So I think that maybe he's arrived at the right time. He's a steady keeper. I can't see that he has left. I can't see that he has left number 3 at Man City. I think he's number 2 or number 3 keeper at Man City. I can't see that he has his company not in the first without a promise of starting first. You know, so Sells maybe has now got a true competitor for his position in goals. So we'll just have to wait and see how that one pans out. But Sells, I think, has done enough to keep his jersey. I think he's a great keeper. But I think if there's anybody going to come up and offer any competition for his shirt, Ortega should be it. He's well established. He's 33 years old. He's a bit of experience, and he's been there, you know, won trophies. So yeah, we'll just wait and see. I would say we bit worried that we'll let go some midfielders in Douglas Luiz and so on, and we didn't bring anybody in to replace them. So again, it's back to that thing where our injuries, if we pick up any injuries in midfield, we're going to be in trouble. But I have to say, overall, Ola Aina came back into the team, and I looked at some stats this morning. When he came back into the team, we were he stabilised everything at the back. He's a great player. Elliot Anderson, my God Almighty, what a player he is! Honestly, see in the future we're going to say, do you remember when he was at Nottingham Forest? He is a player of all players. And I'll guarantee you,
Stop talking him up. Stop talking him up.
Well, I don't want him to go anywhere, but we're you know, to talk about our transfer window, I'm just glad we kept Murillo. I'm glad we kept Elliot Anderson, and I'm glad we kept Morgan Gibbs-White. Because the next transfer window, I can't say that we will. You know, I say that we're going to be raped and pillaged before the end of the next window. But we get through this one. And if we could just get this big guy, Lorenzo Luca, if we get him up in front and start to pop in goals with his head, then
to summarise that, your window, are you weaker or stronger as a result of the window?
That's a hard one to answer, Colin, because we have weakened ourselves by letting some midfielders go. Sean Dyche has his starting 11. He's very clear about where his starting 11 is, and they will start every week in the Premiership, and hopefully they will be used now in the knockout stages of Europe as well. I don't agree with this going into the European games. Play your best team. It's not difficult. You have to play your best team now at this stage. We need a trophy, a new trophy into our trophy room. We need to win some silverware to get the buzz back, and so I hope he does start to play the starting 11. And I know he has to balance that against keeping us in the Premiership and a relegation battle, but we'll wait and see. Onwards to Leeds at the weekend. I can't tell you. That's of the 4 games that we talked about last week. That's the one that worries me the most. You know, like who we got? We've got Crystal Palace, Leeds, Wolves, Liverpool, and I think Leeds will give us as big a game as any of the other three. To be honest.
Well, they did get fairly
nervous for that one.
Yeah, they got mauled on Sunday there, sorry, it's Saturday against Leeds, or Arsenal. So they may be stung and ready to come back. It could be a dangerous one for Forest, We're away at Man United on the early morning, 12:30. So I think Spurs have gone 6 unbeaten against United. So Dr. Tottenham will probably turn up and help United put that record right, you know.
Interesting. I think it's very interesting to see the United doing well again, and who's going to push on in the top 4. Whether I heard people saying earlier on that they're now in a fight for the title. I think they're too late coming to the table for that one, but who knows? You never know. It's still mathematically possible. It's possible.
Well, that brings us probably nicely to the two young managers we've been talking about in the last podcast. We're going to feature again. We had Man United, Manchester United, Michael Carrick,
I will play.
uh,
I will play
of Chelsea.
since we Daniel on since we Daniel on a couple of weeks ago. I'm going to play him first. I apologise for any interruptions in this. I have worked out that I need to do a rate, frame rate. But Daniel talks about the head coach coming in, and in one way he's happy, but in the other way he's not. You will get the gist of it if it breaks up a bit, but just I'll let it run. So here we go.
Having me back
Yeah.
on the pod, even in a clip format. Um, so just giving my kind of takes on Liam Rosenior's start as Chelsea head coach, not manager. Look, all in all, you can't be complaining in terms of the results. We're winning games, 6 wins out of 7 is very impressive. Only losing against Arsenal, but personally, my feelings haven't changed on him and where the club is at. And the appointment of him in the first place hasn't changed, even with these results. Because I think there are games that we should be winning anyway. We should be winning against Charlton, against Paphos, against a West Ham team that's been struggling all season, and a Crystal Palace side that are in pretty poor form themselves. So the games we should be winning, and I'm not getting too carried away. The message still stays the same. It's still blue collar out for me. But talking purely on the football side of things, all Liam Rosenior can do for us as fans, for the ones who wanted him or kind of were more supportive of it than those who weren't. He keeps winning matches. He keeps pulling strings like that. We won't have much to complain about. But I think the overall sentiment from me is that I'm still the same. I'm not particularly keen on him, and I'm not going to let a few wins against teams that we should be beating change that. We have a big game tonight, second leg of the semi-final against Arsenal. I think the tie's done. To be honest, I thought the tie was done after the first leg. I felt we needed to come out of that first leg with, at least have the scores level, and realistically be winning it, which we're not. We're a goal down and now have to go to the Emirates. So can't see anything other than an Arsenal win. But let's just see what happens anyway. Thanks a million, guys, for having me back.
So there's a fan that's used to winning. Daniel, thank you very much for that. There's a fan that's used to winning. Chelsea are used to winning over the years there, and even though that they won 6 out of 7, they're still. Do you know what I mean, Colin? He's still saying,
I
yeah,
do.
it's fine, but we should be winning them games anyway. Contrast that against what Cal says in a minute or two, and you'll see that Cal's on a buzz because they're not used to winning. They haven't been winning for a decade now. And so it's just interesting to hear the two contrasting views of two up,
Yeah.
up and
And
coming
you thought I was negative. You thought I was negative.
managers are doing well. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It seems to be London teams. It seems to be London clubs. Negative, 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 entitled. Well, you're definitely entitled. I've had this. I've said it to your face now, so I can keep on saying it. Spurs fans are entitled. Anyway, we'll listen to what Cal says. And then we'll just talk about the two of them and see what we think of that.
Don't need subtitles to understand me this time. So Man United have been on a 3-game win streak under Carrick since he's taken the helm, and I have to say I'm very, very impressed. We've gone back to having a back four, which is great. Kobe Mainoo and Casemiro in the midfield have been doing bits. Fernandes is banging in assists left, right and centre. Dorgu banging in the goals. Cunha's been doing great. Sesko as well. Just as a team, we're showing a lot of guile, conviction, and we're working together, which is great to see. Don't get me wrong, I would still hold a bit of caution because, yeah, we played Man City and Arsenal. Great teams. They're going to dominate the possession. They have great players. Fulham similarly, okay, they're in the lower half of the table, but under Marco Silva, they play great football. They're not exactly a low block team. We still need to see how this team pans out against low block teams like the likes of West Ham or Burnley. So I would still hold a bit of caution, but generally I am very optimistic under Carrick. I think Carrick is the perfect man for the job right now. I think he breathes Manchester United. He's breathing confidence into the players. And look, I have my grievances, but it's not like when we had Solskjaer with
Al, also, thank you very much for that. But
Yeah.
you can hear the contrast there, Colin. Do you see what I mean? Somebody who's not hasn't been had these wins in recent times is buzzing about the fact that they're doing well. Whereby Daniel just doesn't accept that it's acceptable. So although
Well,
it's
I
still
do, but I think they're talking about two different things in a way. Cal's talking about the tactics on the pitch and how he's happy about a switch to a back four. Fans were increasingly frustrated by Amarin's insistence on a 3-4-3, which did not. It was square peg and a round hole, and I think everyone was starting to see that. Even Radcliffe must have seen it in the end. So the tactical change on the pitch is very good to see, easy to see because it's out there, and very exciting because I've had 3 wins out of 3 or whatever it is. I accept. I understand that. I think where Daniel's coming from is about probably what some of us talk about, what's going on behind the scenes, and the sense that there's something sinister about Chelsea these days, whereby, even at his age, he was probably used to the, Abramovich days of buying the best players in the world and winning everything, and which didn't win Chelsea many fans outside their own fan base, But this whole approach now, 2 parts of it. One is about buying players hand over fist with the future sell-on value, potentially at the expense of the 11 on the field. And the other one is the interference that the previous manager talked about, whereby one of the medical team would say to him, allegedly, you better bring so-and-so off after 70 minutes. He's going, why? Because he will get injured after that because because they have some data to prove that. So decisions on the pitch were made on the basis of something other than what the manager thought should be happening in order to win that game. And I see where they're coming from. So I think good luck to both of them. I do not want United winning the league year and year after that, because that would be intolerable. But having said that, looking at it objectively, I think Carrick has come in like a breath of fresh air. He's looked at what he has. He has players playing to their strengths. He has players playing to a plan they understand, and that's why they're enthusiastic, given their lot. And good luck. We'll see where it takes them. Will United be brave enough to hold on to him after the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer experience? Who knows? Who knows? But good luck to them both. Yeah, and thank you, guys.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was chatting to somebody the other night, a regular contributor on here, and they were saying that if he gets the position full time, it will just go the same way as it did with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because he just feels that it will be a repeat prescription for the mistakes they made in the past. But you can't argue with stats. He's won. Is it 6 out of 7 he's won, or something like that? There, or got 3 out of 4.
No,
I can't remember.
I think it's 3.
Yeah.
I think it's 3 out of 3 for him. Fletcher was the manager for the FA Cup defeat.
Yes.
So I think we're giving Carrick, as far as I understand, 3 out of 3. And 8 goals, I think, in, and 4 conceded. So it's all.
Yeah, Daniel and Carl, thank you very much for contribution. We'll have you on for a full episode if it continues, and if we can get it scheduled. We'd hope to get them on today, but unfortunately, with commitments that you previously had, they just couldn't do it today. So it is hard to get people on at a certain time every day. Sure. So Emerald Isle, Colin, let me use the wee graphic that you always talk over. Don't talk over it. Let me do my graphic. Yeah. Tell us a bit.
Okay. Emerald Eye is a feature we did on given where we're from and so on. Anyone from Northern Ireland who's doing well in the Premiership, we like to keep an eye on them. And we had mentioned Kevin Kelleher when he went to Brentford. At that time, we were a bit worried for Brentford. He came I think he might have been Thomas Frank's last signing. He came just before Frank left for Spurs. And I think we were all worried for him and worried for Brentford as to where they would go. Keith Andrews, Republic of Ireland international, had taken over. He was their set-piece coach, and everyone feared the worst, particularly Martin O'Neill. So I thought it'd be nice to have a look at how they're doing. Brentford, having won at the weekend, are flying high. 10 of them beat Aston Villa, who have desires for the Champions League and fantasy world, winning the league. And he's been instrumental in this, and good luck to him. I had a look at his figures, and I wanted to contrast him with Liverpool's goalkeeper Alisson Becker. Kelleher this season, 24 appearances.
Yeah.
He's let in 32 goals, and he's had 6 clean sheets. He's had a yellow card, but so what? Okay. Alisson, 19 appearances, 23 goals, and 6 clean sheets. So what does that tell us? Well, Kelleher's goals conceded ratio is 1.33, and Alisson's is 1.21. So there's not a lot of difference there. Liverpool haven't had the wonderful season, but if you saw the game against Newcastle, Liverpool-Newcastle, there was a save Alisson made that was world class, and I think to be fair to Kelleher, it was somebody world class who was going to make a move on. And I think that's what happened. And fair play to him. And well done going to Brentford. Well done playing your part. And I mean, we looked at the wee mini league at the start of the season. We'll talk about the Brentfords, the Brightons, the Crystal Palaces, the Fulhams, that group in sort of no man's land. And probably we thought Brentford A would finish bottom of that wee league and possibly finish bottom of the league. And nothing could be further from the truth. I think they're higher than most of those teams. So well done, Keevan. Well done, Brentford, and keep her lit. That's all I'll say.
Well done. Then that was Emerald Eye. Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so what does that leave us to? I think that he moved there to get first team football. Get to play a game every week, and he's got his game every week, and I think he's shown himself to be a more than capable option to put in there as number one keeper, and I think he deserved it. To be honest, I think he was always just behind the 8 ball at Liverpool. He was not going to get that first place. And to be fair, as I said earlier, I do think that Alisson is world class, and there's no shame in not being able to displace him. I think, I don't want to sound morbid, Brentford fans, close your ears. I think the long-term strategy for Kelleher probably is that he'll move again. He'll show himself up, like Raya did, moving from Brentford to Arsenal. I have a feeling Kelleher could move. Maybe not at the end of this season, but I think if he keeps doing what he's doing, and please do keep doing what you're doing, I think there could be another move to a, dare I say it, bigger club. Hate the term. Bigger team.
Yeah, well, and
I know.
But the longer he stays with Brentford, fair play to them. Excuse me. Okay. Paul, I think that's our agenda cover for today. Is there anything more?
I just want to ask a couple of questions. Top of the league, is Arsenal running away? Is it theirs to lose now?
Arsenal, well, mathematically it probably is. They're 6 points ahead. I'm not sure what the goal difference is, but, they've got to lose 2 more matches than City. Now, hopefully they come to Tottenham and get done. Who knows? I think it is theirs to lose, yes. Are they going to win it? I just won't quite go that far, I think there's still a few hurdles to be jumped. We all hope. What it's proven is, that winning the league this season, it's not a stroll, it's not a procession in the way it had been for City a couple of times, and possibly for Liverpool last season. But I think it's theirs to lose, but I don't think they've won it yet, if that makes sense. The top 5 is probably beginning to take shape. And I refer back, I've said this a couple of times, I think the sky is not blue over Newcastle. That was bad beating. They went 1 up. And it was a bad beating, in my opinion.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
I just think there's, something will rumble there.
Something that I neglected to mention whenever you were doing your review of the game against City. When in any of these words is that not? Do you not think that was a penalty against Haaland? Do you not think that was a penalty?
What? A penalty? No. Which one? Sorry, I missed you there a wee bit.
He was thrown to the ground. He was thrown to the ground. Haaland, he was thrown to the ground when they were waiting on a corner coming in. And I think this is a ridiculous rule now that if the ball's not in play, you can still manhandle somebody to the ground. I think it's ridiculous. I think we're going to have to review it because I'm sick of watching players jostling with one another in the box, waiting on a corner coming in and arms round them and hold them. And
oh yeah, I
get
agree.
it. Stand your ground. No arms.
Yeah, well, that's what I say. Stand your ground. Haaland is built like a Viking. Yeah.
I know he
must be 13, 14 stone. He's about 6 some, So, like, he falls over like a light breeze. It touched him. Come on.
Do you not see? I mean, clearly he was manhandled.
I do see what you mean. Yeah, but what are they going to do? They're making a non-contact sport. I was a defender. I think you got to defend. And if a big bruiser like that comes in, you're going to say, you're not going to push me around, man. I'm going to have you back. And some of the stuff that's going on there, and Haaland hands it out. So to fall over like a lettuce leaf just does my head in. Get up, big man. Get on with it. That would be you're not the shortest, and that's my opinion. The other one was
I just want to mention it.
Thank you for mentioning that. Yeah, I really appreciate that. The other one was somebody was waffling on it. It was a foul on Gahey that whenever Solanke stuck the ball in the net, he helped him. So he went through. He touched the ball through Gahey's leg. I can see. Well, that was somebody on Sky. Oh, that might have been you got to go for the ball, and I think that was goal. And had it been the other way around, I would have thought it was a goal, because I tend to want to give the benefit of the doubt that way, as did the referee, as did VAR, whoever else was involved in it. And your Rodri, now, this is hilarious. Rodri came on and said about how terrible.
I listened to it. Yeah, I listened to it. Okay, well, that finalised that shuts up living up. That's all our stuff covered for today.
Yeah, so Rodri,
have you? I just lost you
there.
Anything
else?
Okay, as you say,
anything else?
Everything covered. Yes. We said we'd talk.
Yeah, I just one thing more to add. Enoch out. Okay, thank you.
Right. I'm going to start using a yellow card and red card. Honestly, you need to stop going over the same stuff over and over and over and over again. Talk about something new. Talk about something fresh. Have some love and faith for your club and its owners, like Marinakis. Marinakis walked into the club the other night. He walked into the pitch. Marinakis walked in from the street, in through the fans, into the club. No, I'm just saying. These guys normally arrive in blacked out window cars. He walked in, the fans were mobbing him, saying they can get selfies. Top man, what a leader, what an owner.
Okay.
Brilliant.
And wait, whenever you go down, if you go down, it'll be Marinakis. It'll be moved from Marinakis to Marinakis. You wait and see. You're welcome to Enoch anytime. They'll take you down, don't worry.
Anything you want to add before we go?
No, I don't think so. I think I've said more than enough.
Okay. All right. Okay, we will be back with you. We will have a usual episode, but we might do slot in one in a couple of weeks' time. We'll talk about that nearer the time. And we need to get some guests on again, Colin. We'll maybe try and get a Spurs and a Forest guest on. Some of the Forster Magic crew, we'll get some of them on. Dave, Charlie, Amma, or so on. We'll get them on. We'll get a bit of debate going to see if we can get them
to. And Spurs fans too.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, thanks for listening to us. We don't see you. We'll see you next time, and stay safe. Thank you. Take care.